I think it was, I don't know, what do you call, like a quarter life crisis or something. I didn't start until I was 29, and I wanted to start when I was like 19 or 20. I used to write jokes. I was living in Athens, Georgia when I was like 19 and 20, and I really wanted to do stand-up. And I would write jokes. I wrote like 15, 20 minutes of stuff. Wasn't any good, and I would go to open mics, and I would sign up, and they would call my name, and I would stand in the back and not respond because I just didn't have the balls. I just couldn't do it. Just that, stage fright or whatever you call it. And I did that 2 or 3 times, and I just chickened out and never did it, and just kind of put it out of my mind for like 8 or 9 years. And then doing other jobs, other careers, and one day just kind of had an epiphany of like, dude, I'm almost 30. I'm not doing what I want to do with my life. You always wanted to be a stand-up. Just go do it, you idiot. And the rest is history, I guess. So 13 years later. So. I mean, it was scary, of course, but it was exhilarating. Like, I was hooked immediately after that first set. I was like, literally, after the first set, I was like, I'm gonna do this the rest of my life. Whether I get paid for it or not is up to my progression, but in some form, I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. So, it was immediate. Like, it wasn't like, bucket list, I checked that off, I'm glad I did it. But like, it was like, no, I'm hooked, I gotta do it. So, and it wasn't a great set by any means, as most first sets aren't. And this is the advice I give to like newer comics when they're thinking about going up for the first time. But I had jokes. I had 5 minutes. I had a set. I had jokes, meaning they were structured. I had a place for the audience to laugh. So many newer comics, it's just like a 5-minute run-on sentence. It's just so I don't know where I learned that, but it was. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. But just from day one, I at least knew give the audience a place to laugh. And I remember that first set, like, okay. Like, looking back, it's like, that material wasn't any good, but it was set up, punch, laugh, please, so. This is always a weird question for me because, and this is me being truthful and sincere, but, like, my favorite comics are my friends, and I'm just very fortunate to be friends with some really amazing comics. But I would say my favorite comics are my buddy Kyle Kinane, and we're pals. We host a podcast together, so I have to kind of suppress that, not to creep him out, But Kyle Kinane, Andy Sanford, Sean Patton, Rory Scovel, these are some of my favorites. So probably Kyle's special, Whiskey Icarus, his first special with Comedy Central. That's one of my favorites. Trying to think of Andy Sanford, Me the Whole Time, his first album, or his newest special, Shameful Information. That's an amazing. It's on Amazon right now. Rory Scovel's Netflix special called Rory Scovel Does Stand Up for the First Time. These are all my pals, so it's weird, but I honestly can take myself out of that scenario and honestly say, like, oh yeah, even if I didn't know these guys, this is some of my favorite comedy. So that's weird. Sitcom would have to be Seinfeld. I've always been a huge Seinfeld fan. Sketch show, probably Mr. Show. Love that. Bob Odenkirk, David Cross. Probably movie Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. That's such an underrated movie. I never hear people quote that or even list it amongst the top favorites or whatever, but that movie is just so well done. So yeah, Seinfeld and Walk Hard and probably Mr. Show. The funniest line I've ever heard. I know it's out of fashion to praise Louis C.K. in this day and age, and maybe rightfully so. I don't want to get into all that. That his behavior, that's pretty unacceptable. But one thing I will say, let's all stop pretending that he wasn't an amazing comic. Whenever somebody like that, something happens to one of these guys, shame on their behavior. but he was still an amazing comic. And it's not the whole joke, but just one of the funniest lines I've ever heard. Do you mind if I drop some rated R on you here? He's talking about the old cliche of his friend was getting married, and he said, "Oh, I don't know if I could have sex with the same woman, or I don't know if I could have sex with the same woman for the rest of my life." And Louis interjects and goes, "One woman? Try no woman. When you get married, you don't have sex anymore. I'd love to have sex with one woman for the rest of my life. Any woman. Big, fat, dead lady with a beard? I'd fuck her every day. Be proud to have her." Just something about the rhythm of big, fat, dead lady with a beard. That just always cracked me up. Well, I've toured with some of my favorites that I've mentioned. Me and Andy Sanford used to tour together for years. Kyle Kinane and I have toured together. Roy Scovel and I have toured together. Sean Patton and I have toured. But outside of like my friends, man, it'd be fun opening and touring for Brian Regan. My buddy Joe Zimmerman does do that, and I've always been jealous of him because of that. But I think he's Brian Regan's regular opener. But yeah, opening for Regan will be a lot of fun. Going out with Maria Bamford, I'm a big fan of her. She's great. But yeah, Regan, that'd be a good time. Well, I get roasted by Kyle Kinane every Tuesday. He's relentless with the ball busting, but I'm good. I love it because I know it's coming from a good place because we're pals. But I don't know, Richard Pryor, it'd be funny to see how he would roast this dumb, white, fat idiot. Pryor, Carlin. That'd be nice. Seinfeld, I figured. Seinfeld, Larry David would be nice to have him just scream at me and roast me. So I don't know. Is that 5? I don't know if I'm missing any. Flip Wilson, that would be a good one. I don't have a whole lot of interest in any of that. A lot of comics use stand-up as a stepping stone to all those things. I mean, I wouldn't turn down an acting role if it was the right movie or the right show, but that's not really my motivation. One thing, I guess the other thing that, the extracurricular activity I'd like to do that I've kind of been trying to do for years is host like a cool like nonfiction TV show. I love eating. I love restaurants. So yeah, I would like to, some sort of, maybe like a fat, funny Anthony Bourdain type show. Maybe I travel around, check out restaurants and stuff, or maybe record stores or something. But yeah, as far as TV, maybe just some sort of travel show. But I don't have a whole lot of interest in acting in a terrible sitcom or a cheesy movie. I've written some scripts, but I don't think that's one of my strong suits. And so yeah, I just like touring and podcasting. Those are the two things I'm really focused on right now. No idea. Like, comedy's so unpredictable. If you'd have told me 15 years ago this is what I'd be doing, it would have blown my mind. Where I would like to see my career in 5 years is 5 years might be a little ambitious, but at some point I'd love to play theaters. I think that's a lot of stand-ups goal, meaning like, don't have, well, not to venture off, but like I don't really like doing a lot of comedy clubs. There's a few clubs that I either play or would like to play, but for the most part I do what I call like DIY touring, do it yourself, just playing cool bars and venues like this. But so that is what I do in lieu of clubs. But ultimately, in lieu of both of those, I would like to just play theaters. Like just something about just the performance aspect of like going to a nice, grand, old 2,000, 3,000 seat theater and seeing comedy and doing. And I have done that. I used to open for Craig Ferguson I did several tours with him, and he would play theater, so I have that experience of what it's like to perform comedy in front of 3,000 people, and it's awesome. It's an amazing experience. The difference would be I would love for those 3,000 people to come to see me. I was under no illusion that when I was opening for Ferguson that anybody in that theater was there to see me. Obviously, they were there to see him. But so yeah, I would love to be the headliner of a theater. That'd be nice. At Dave Stone Comedy on Facebook and Twitter. Instagram is _ Dave Stone. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I guess like any comic, just that A, they got their money's worth, and B, they were just entertained. Comedy's it's a great entertainment option that I think a lot of people overlook. People when they want to go out and be entertained, movies are towards the top of the list. Going to see concerts is a lot of fun, but I want people to walk away feeling like, I don't know how to articulate this. Like, I'm not a celebrity, I'm not famous, so it's hard to get people to come see a comedy show when the comics aren't famous or household names. So anybody who took a chance and said, we don't really know who this guy is, but this is worth $10. We'll go give it a shot. I hope they leave entertained and well, a more concise way to answer your question is just what I would like for them to think when they walk away from my show is, when is he coming back? I want them to come back and see. Hey guys, this is Dave Stone, and you're watching acutiepie.com. You're watching A Cutie Pie on acutiepie.com. That's lame, but you get it. Enjoy.